Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is the Purism Librem 13, which is a new 13-inch laptop that's designed by the same company that did the Purism 15, which is it's designed to sort of be open software, free software, and protect privacy. It ships with GNU-based Linux, or GNU Linux-based software. GNU, I always feel silly saying, but that's the phrase. And the idea is that while it does have some proprietary software in the bootloader, in the BIOS, everything after that is completely open. You can inspect it yourself, you can modify it yourself, and in terms of privacy, there's even a kill switch for the camera that lets you shut off the connections to it, so that nobody can use that camera to look at you when you don't want them to. So this is the new model. It's going to be available with an Intel Broadwell processor. If the company raises about $250,000 through crowdfunding on the Crowd Supply website. I'm here with Todd Weaver. Yeah. And why don't you tell me a little bit about what this is and why you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, so it's really the first privacy-respecting laptop because we actually sourced all of the chips specifically to run with completely free software. So we actually built all of the chips to manufacture the motherboard, and then we also took GNU Linux as the main core, and then also a Triskel-based distribution which completely respects your freedom. There are no binary blobs or mystery code in the bootloader, the kernel, or any software applications that run on the operating system. So at that point, we assemble it all together, and we have a complete unit that you can end up buying that fully respects your privacy and security and freedom.
Now, what's the advantage of buying something that's configured like this as opposed to just buying a Lenovo laptop and installing Ubuntu on it?
Well, first of all, you can end up with Superfish. That's one problem. But you can also end up with, if it ever had Windows involved, you can end up having firmware installed on the drive. There's a number of threats that end up happening there. The other thing is that it's actually the hardware that's involved in a Lenovo will still require you to run binary blobs inside the Linux kernel, and those binary blobs are mystery code. You don't actually know what it does, so therefore it strips your control and strips your freedom. So this is something where every piece of software that runs on the entire computer is free.
Now, this is your second device, the second attempt at crowdfunding a device. What lessons have you learned sort of from the 15-inch model?
One important thing is making sure that we actually had enough prototype time in before we actually launched the campaign. So one of the things that we did with the 15-inch Rev 1 was we communicated a lot with the backers, and they ended up basically creating our Rev 2. So we're in the process of getting the prototypes for that unit. So it's really controlling the time with the backers. So what we did with the 13-inch is we took all the information that we learned from what people want in a Rev 2 15-inch and applied that into the 13-inch. So it's actually already what backers would have wanted from our initial campaign. So really it's the going through it one time and the learning pains of starting something new. We've kind of took all that knowledge and applied it to the 13-inch campaign.
Can you give some examples of things that you changed?
So some of those things are memory size. That was a big item.
And the new model supports up to 16 gigabytes of RAM.
In a 13-inch, yeah, 16 gig. Then also hardware kill switch, which is an important one that Rev 1 did not have. But we actually put out a poll to all of the backers and asked them, really, there's three areas that we can address the threat model of malware into taking control of your webcam and microphone. We can either do it at the software level, or we could do it at the BIOS level, or we could do it actually at the hardware level. And it was pretty much unanimous from all the backers from that poll to say, put it in the hardware level. So what we did is we actually went back to the Rev 2, and we designed the hardware kill switch in the Rev 2. We also coupled that into the design of the 13-inch model, where it's actually severing the circuit from the video as well as the microphone in one switch. And then we have wireless and Bluetooth in the second switch.
And so again, it'll be available with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. The entry-level model is going to be available with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, but you can also use solid-state storage. You can use basically it's a 2.5-inch drive there, right?
That's right.
So any storage. And then in terms of the wireless drivers, the graphics drivers, everything else using non-proprietary firmware. So that is a quick look at sort of what you can expect from this new 3-pound, 13-inch laptop from Purism. Going to be available through crowdfunding site Crowd Supply. Entry-level models can be $14.95. It's relatively expensive for a device that's only going to have 4 gigs of RAM, 500 gigs of storage, but it's really designed for people who really want to support a company that's working with free software and has concerns about being able to access the code yourself and being able to protect your privacy and security. So that's the Purism Librem 13, the second device from Purism.